I told you I would be back. All right. It's been a long weekend, and, well, let's get to it here. We got the loop playing here, and while a few people file in, I'm just going to let this play for a second. We'll touch base really quick with our date up here, September 7th, or October 7th, my bad, 2027. So used to seeing September. We're into October 7th. All right. All right, so as you can see, we've had quite a big blast right here. I'm just going to go ahead and get started here while people file in because I got a long show to do and not much time. So, okay, opening frame right here. You can see this widespread blast right there. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for taking a moment of your time to be a part of this precious family. Okay, it means a lot to me. Your time is very valuable, and I got some valuable information for you. Okay, so here we are, opening frame 012 of October 7th. You can see our widespread already as we progress through this on this upper spire up here, right in this line right here. In between here, out comes a little satellite first. Oh, another event I want to point out over here. Look on this side. We're going backwards. You see these two things coming together into nothing. So watch this nothing spot as we go forward. It spreads apart. Okay, so we've got an event there. And I believe that's one of these objects just hitting one of the magnetic field line that's a little further out, one of these bands that's a little further out, and it makes like a splash effect. A lot of this is a lot like fluid dynamics. So as this thing, it didn't interact directly with the sun, but it punctured the solar wind at a certain field line there, and then moves on out. Okay, well, what I wanted to point out too was our big. Oh, it hasn't come yet. All right, so there goes this little satellite moon structure moving. We have our splash effect right here going on. And then as we come in for final approach here, there's another little moon shooting off, and then bingo. Wow, that's a huge, huge blast. Starting right there, going a little bit further. You can make out this round one right here. Go a little more like that. Scroll up. So there's one little planetoid right there, but let's continue. There's more because right here. Actually, let's go back that frame right here. Here you can see our bigger round black structure. Probably goes off a little bit, comes back around right here. All right, so there's a bigger object in the background. Here's one of the little satellite moons right here, closer to the central object. You can see the huge spread from up to here down to here is the magnetic field spread around this object. And even over here, you can see these darker little moons accompanying it. So I'm going to back up a frame, couple there, and we'll go over it one more time. There you can see kind of curvature going around the back here, and stuff splaying off the top here. We're going to have to darken this a little bit and zoom in just a tad here. Oops. Okay, this stuff's flaying off the top. We got a round spheroid object going back down around here, and plasma's hitting the very top of it and then continuing off. Then you can see, just make out this dark area back behind here. And there's still the little satellite moons here, one there. There's another little one down here. Some other ones hiding down in there as well. And then we'll pull back. Gotta remember these things absorb light and they bend light. So they don't reflect light. You don't see them as like a glowing star on the screen. No, they do the opposite. They come in really dark and black, and then they interact with the sun, and plasma splashes over them, painting your round spherical object. You got to remember, space is three-dimensional. These aren't just round little discs. These are all spheroid. And when you kind of open up your third eye and look at this three-dimensionally, you see it a lot clearer. I'll back up a little bit. You can see how plasma flows over this object as it interacts with the sun and then moves out of frame. And we were still, well, I guess that is all the frames. It was a pretty quick event. It's still kind of underway. And we'll come over here really quick, over to solar ham. As you can see right now, it's red right here. Our geomagnetic storm is underway. We got red on the south and on the north poles. Have had it for a while. We are currently in G3. You can see the spike now is reaching up to KP7. All right, here's an impact and then a break, another wave and then a break, another wave, then a break, and a stronger wave. And that's why this took so long, is all of these different inbound waves hooked up together. They didn't cannibalize each other, but then they get these little breaks in between that separate them. So they all kind of gang up and catch up to one and then separate, and then they all come in a set, like a set of waves on a beach. For you surfers, you know the third set, right? Anyways, this is still climbing. It's at G3 right now. And tonight we're going to talk about G3, geomagnetic storm enhancement of our hurricane. I told you about this a couple nights back when we first got indications that this hurricane could grow, or that it could possibly take formation. Now we're looking at our geomagnetic storm enhancement. It's been going for a while. Okay, started here, took a little break, got stronger, took a little break, got even stronger, took a little break, gets even stronger. So all of this has been enhancing our storm. Okay, this enhances the cloud nucleation. Geomagnetic energy enhances cloud nucleation. Nucleation is when the water molecule sticks to your particle, your ash, your sand, whatever kind of particle is in the air. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your blessings there in the chat. Okay, continuing on now. G3 called through October 8th. Let's start up here. Strong G3 storm conditions observed. The BZ and IMF solar wind component. Let's show you really quick. Your BZ component is negative 16. That's why we're seeing auroras at low latitudes, okay? And now most of the activity is shifting over to this side of the Earth now. So still some, at high latitudes here. Let me pull out a bigger map for you. See how this strike zone's kind of rotating out of the main 48 now? But there's still a little glow up here by the Canadian border. And some people did see some tonight. Okay, so we did get our geomagnetic storm. And something else I want to talk about too is, excuse me, is a lot of these people jump the gun. They see an X flare come off and they go, oh, impact within 24 to 48 hours. And I'm more along the lines of the 3-day rule. It goes along 72 plus after 72 hours. Okay, so that's kind of what happened here. We didn't get our impact here until after 72 hours, and it was all because the magnetic from this wave attracts this wave. It slows this one down and pulls it back to this one. This is stronger, so it pulls these two back to it. All of this got pulled back magnetically and stalled this whole configuration a little bit, because the one on the back was so strong that it magnetically hooked up to the one in front of it, which hooked up to the one in front of it, and slowed it up. It slowed it up coming into into Earth, and it came right after 72 hours. So this is impact of our your X7, X9, okay? And we're still climbing. We're at G3 and climbing still, all right? So it's important that we take this into consideration right now at this very moment because we are seeing enhancement of this hurricane. All right. And I know some people have been reporting on this hurricane and they've been doing the best job they can to warn as many people. And I'm going to try to do my best to give you the dirt. Here we go. It's an X2.1 that just came off the AR 3842. Okay. It caused a, well, up here, this second part caused a type 2 radio blackout. Okay. They're not putting it right here. Okay. But these two are kind of combined into one. Okay, right here, there's a spike, a dip, and then a second little spike that actually hits the line right there. We'll come back to that in just a second. Now, let's dip into our solar flux indices, 277. I repeat, 277. We're getting close to 300. 12 more points. It went up 12, add another 12 tomorrow, and we're going to be close to 300, okay? 13 is all we need, really. All right, so, or 23, sorry. Our sunspot number count is 164, and we're down 3 spots. Well, we saw some of that the bigger object with some of the satellites leave, so we dropped a few sunspots because that interaction is over and fleeing this, the area. Meanwhile, our area is in the red at 2470, but it's down 170, so that's okay. Let's come over here. I want to pop open this really quick. Let's do our standard. Wait, we got to brighten this back up now. Okay. And get you all nice and comfy with our sunspots. Finally, 3844 over here, leaving the limb, about to reach the limb and crest the limb and leave us. Meanwhile, we got this big complex, 3849 and 3850. A bunch of these little blotchy patches all close to each other can spark this one to this one, that one to this one to that one. There's a bunch of configurations. Meanwhile, the eye of the monster, the middle eye right here, is just looking insane. This is a very, very intense magnetic spot right here. And we still got red, the opposite polarity on the other side right there. Still close to configuration right there. Now, 3852 is another inbound sunspot coming off the limb right here, and you can see it's got a pretty good setup coming at us already. It's not, we're still getting the parallax effect of it, but once it rounds, it'll be another little thing to contend with, probably magnetically hooked up to something that's out there. Now, let's back out of this. I want to take you over here now, roll and slide, and see how fluxed we really are. Okay, this is your GOES X-ray flux, and as you can see, our event today was quite an event. All right, we had a little bumpiness yesterday, not much to write home about, kind of, mellow until this event, and it went up, kind of stalled for a second, and then boom, our, we had our big impact. It comes down and reacts again, secondary moons. Your first moons, your outer ones, interact first. Here's your big object, your big long duration event too. Okay, this puts a lot of energy in this blast, okay, the long duration thing. Then we get our dropout again. Can't wait for this to end because every little thing is pretty important. So we come down, we smooth off, we go back up. Not much to really look at here, but we still have the second tail end of this event. So we are going to go back and we are going to come over here and we're going to refresh, except none of you want to see this, so we're not going to open it up. Tough. We're going to look at it anyways. All right, here's the tail end of our event, and then look at this. What? Oh, is that flashing alarm or something? No, I'm joking. Let's go. Bing. Boom. And look at here, we got another event underway. And I can tell by this round signature here, you see how it's bending right at this kink and then rounding? We have a bigger round object right down below here. This is like a damage ring that's spreading out across it. There's another moon right above it or something right here in front, putting a little divot. There it is. You can see it right there. Putting a little divot in the front part of this damage ring that's going around your object down below. You see your spread coming out around the curvature of this and then curving back because your object right there. So I think we're about to see another bigger object come out of that region. The tail end, here, let's get you right here. I guess this is our opening frame at 02. We're missing 2 hours of data, which is the tail end of this big event and some of the trailing moons and stuff that go along with it. So there's some of that trailing end of the event, and then bingo, right to this one. All right, so there's your tail end of this, and now we're all of a sudden we're going to see another event coming in here just a little while. Okay, now let's zoom back out. Now, let's talk about our 3-day geomagnetic forecast. They're calling for a G3 on October 8th, all right? Now, all this stuff has piled up like wave after wave. They magnetically hook up. They don't cannibalize each other, but then there's a separation gap. So you see the gap, then the second wave, then a gap, then this third wave. This is a little dip between this little wave right here and another one. And you can see these gaps are increasing in power. Bing, bing, our next gap, maybe right there after we see what comes after this. But it's still pretty red, still pretty intense right now, okay? And this is showing red, so we should be seeing, I don't know if they're cheating us on our color chart here, but we should be seeing a red stripe here, which might be G4, okay? We don't need any more energy. I would much rather see this thing drop to KP 0 right now because we took on way too much already. And it has enhanced this storm so much. I actually heard a weatherman like choke up and cry when he had to say that it jumped 50 millibars in 7 hours, or in a certain time frame. I forget what it was, but you could hear the crack in his voice, and he was crying because he had to report that. And it is tough to report this stuff, and I'm here to tell you that it's not over. It's still enhancing, okay? This hurricane is more than just a hurricane, okay? It needs to be treated like almost like a nuclear attack where nobody should be around, not even first responders. I mean, everybody, no storm chasers should be there on the shorelines. I mean, you're just begging for trouble. And when we get into this part later on, we'll talk about possible side effects of this storm if it gets to what I think might happen. I really don't want to tell you that part, but from what I'm seeing already, we got some stuff to talk about tonight, all right, you guys? Now, let's just get back to business because this is currently going on as we speak, all right? So, I want to talk about 3849 beta gamma and declining, thankfully, but 3848 is our big beta gamma delta, and it's declining too. That was this one right here. 3848, that big one is declining, okay? But these two right here, we'll have to watch. It's beta gamma, and the other one is beta, so that's okay. But 3842, beta gamma and growing. All right, so we still got a lot of unstable sunspots out there, and you just saw this new event underway. Bingo, right here, 612 of 10.8. All right, so our latest data has an event already taking place right now. All right, so we are going to see something else, another little event here. Oh, boy, I hate reporting this stuff. Okay, the strong G-3 geomagnetic threshold was reached at 235 UTC. The BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field, the IMF, has rested into a sharply south-pointing position of negative 16, not negative 6. Negative 6 is where we start getting concerned. We're at negative 16. Visible aurora is being reported across many locations in the middle and high latitudes, okay? And a bunch of people saw it already tonight. I want to take a look at this tracker and see what they're showing here. Okay, this one's showing a blast going off in this direction. Doesn't mean our object wasn't coming this way and induced a blast right about here, which would cause it to go in that direction, and said object keeps continuing out in front of our orbit. I want to see what this one's showing too. Yes, okay, we're going to get into Hypercane and Cat 6 here. And, I forgot the list. I'll have to find my list of wind speeds, storm surge, the different categories, because we would make an adjustment as far as where the wind speeds at a Cat 5 would stop and where Cat 6 would start, and storm surge and stuff like that. Meanwhile, here we are back at this. We're showing the 5th, 6th, 7th. This was all inaccurate. It ended up hitting on the 7th. Okay, so here was your waves. Okay, and they stay kind of magnetically separated. Even though this thing likes to show them join up sometimes, they don't necessarily cannibalize. They'll get right up next to each other, but then they'll have a magnetic divide. Just a small, quick little gap like you saw in the KP model there. Also, something we could use this really quick up. Can we have this, please, Lord? Thank you. All right, up here, the way this direction is going, all right, it puts all the energy way out there. Say an object is approaching the sun, and this black circle right here, we're going to use this black orbit of this of Mercury right here, this black circle on the chart, as a imaginary magnetic field line boundary. Now we got, this is a magnetic field line, and you got another magnetic object approaching, say at this angle. It bing, it hits it and causes the sun to react and spark. Bing, that spark, that plasma then drapes over the object, like we saw, and then might continue along this path. It doesn't necessarily follow the direction of the CME. It was going by here. And say the moment it touches that circle is the moment the two magnetic fields interact, causing a giant spark, or a CME, or an X flare. That's what an X flare is a giant, huge arc, a spark off the sun. Okay? So there's a little example, kind of what I was trying to, we'll use that as our little template, as that example, for that example. Ugh. I am exhausted, you guys. It's been, did you see what I posted in the community yet? It has been a long weekend. All right. I still want to copy this really quick because we didn't cover last night the strong solar flare event that was observed around 3842 beginning at 1905 on October 7th. The impulsive first event, the X2.1, peaked at 1932. The secondary peak measuring X1 was then observed at 2101, and this is associated with a bright coronal mass ejection, a CME, that became visible soon afterwards. A type 2 radio blackout emission with an estimated velocity of 941 kilometers per second was recorded. The plasma cloud should be directed mostly to the west, however. A further update will be provided. What I want to do is show you whatever they got for us. All right, the angle of attack that this thing came out at. You see this stuff kind of launch out. Okay. Here's a good representation. So it's coming out of the sun this way. It's not totally going straight across. It's still coming out at an angle, Oh, I wish I had a little template, a little circle I could put on here, but it's still coming out of the side of the sun. If we're still seeing the light from it, we're still going to get possibly a little glancing glow from the side of that CME or whatever. All right, let's continue on. We got that the minor G1 to moderate G2 geomagnetic storming persisted on Monday in the wake of the CME passage on Sunday. The BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field continues to point south, and additional periods of storming will be possible. And that was on the 7th, okay? So, and then, boom, here into the 8th. There it went. Now, we'll have to come back later in our weather forecast back to this as well, because here on the 7th, well, on the 8th, I mean, they're still continuing G3. So here we go into the 8th, and it is still G3. So we'll see how long this continues to last, because it's still in the red right now. Now let's come on over here really quick. I want to show you where to go. All right, another X-class solar flare. Take a little sip here. Again, Sunspot 3842 erupted again, producing the X2 class solar flare. We saw the movie. The extreme significant CME was hurled into space. It probably has an Earth-directed component. I repeat, it probably has an Earth-directed component. And I agree. The light, we saw the light. It came out of this sunspot right here in the corner. It's still on the facing side of the sun, facing us, even though it's like shooting down to this tower. Say it came out of here and it's shooting over here. We rotate around towards that. So the solar wind, here, let me show you something back here on this tracker. Solar wind doesn't come out in a straight line. It comes out in a curve. Okay, so this solar stuff that came out in front of us would get caught and maybe pushed away from us, hopefully. But you see, it could hook up with this band of energy that's already kind of coming off. So I have a feeling we're going to catch more of a glancing blow than this thing is showing. Okay, I pray I'm wrong. I don't want any glancing blow. I want total miss. I was liking the fact that we did not get hit at all, and everybody was saying it missed us. Now, the CME impact sparks auroras in the USA. As predicted, the CME struck Earth's magnetic field on October 6th, and at first it seemed like a dud. Nothing happened for hours. Then auroras spread across more than 20 U.S. states. Okay, the sky is behind us slit. Yes. Okay. They lasted brightly for about 5 to 10 minutes and then faded back. So it was just a brief little impulse right there on the 6th. But here we are on the 7th and 8th, and we are having a major impact, or a significant impact, we would say. Right there, G3. All right, so let's move on over here. Here's your Schuman for today. Okay, this is starting your day going this way. And this was the latest activity not too long ago, just right before all of this up here. Okay, now these charts are upside down compared to what we're used to seeing, and they're not very large. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Here's your latest, your 7.83, the little line going through right there. Very choppy, very weak, hardly there. When we come over here, you can see most of the day it was going nice and smooth. And then right about here, bingo, we had another big disruption. Lots of pressure, lots of grinding. We probably had some kind of volcano or earthquake event that reduced pressure, but then went right back to it. Another event that reduced, right back to it. Another big event that reduced a bunch of pressure, and then right back to it, reduced, back to it. And these are pretty good spikes. Here's 40. This is where the chart that we're used to looking at ends. It ends at 40 hertz. This goes up a little higher, and you could see these spikes probably would have continued up into this range if that chart continued, which would be Well, let's just 40, there's 50, 60, maybe in around 70 hertz upwards in that area. I mean, if you kind of followed these up, did a rough estimate, not saying exactly, but rough estimate. And then you can see it continued on, little break, pressure grinding, break. So it's been a very, very intense roller coaster ride today of emotions, pain, dizziness, confusion, irritability. How about that? Irritability and frustration. How many of you are suffering bouts of frustration where you get frustrated and then you have to calm down? All because of this going on in the background as well. All right, this really affects your body, your mind, your moods, and the animals too. And it's also an indicator of pressure down below building up. This is the core and the shell grinding on each other, okay? It produces low frequencies, but very intensely. The color denotes the intensity of the frequency, okay? So your 7.83 was normal right here, but it was super intense right there, and then normal, and then super intense, normal, super intense, normal, super. All right, so like I said, it's just this roller coaster ride, and you're not in control. And most other people around you are not in control either. And that's what makes it hard is when you're trying to hold on to your shit, and other people around you are losing theirs, and you're like, oh, this ain't easy. Okay. And in case your pressure is right there, any kind of inflow energy from the sun is going to cause more grinding down below. Okay. We just had another build up, release, build up, release, build up, release. And then here's a decent one not too long ago. Here's just a little while ago. And here's your latest readings right there, right on that line. So looks like we're going into a little bit something, but we just came out of quite a day, I would say. Okay, now let's come on over here to Null School. Let's get this set up here. I want to sure 850. That's where our storms like to reside. And we're going to go particulates and into the sand. Actually, go back to the air in 850. Okay, very powerful vortexes going on out here, down here. Right now, we're just looking at vortexes, okay? And then we have, well. Very strong enhancement is going to happen to this thing. The course that it's on, I know how God works. He sees a target there and he's going after it. And I love people praying and, pray for the people in that area. I have a feeling this thing means business. You can't pray this storm away, but pray for alternative routes out of here because I heard people are traffic jammed and there's lack of gas. Let's see some boats. Let's see some airplanes. People, where's that Cajun Navy? Get over there and help them people. Okay, airplanes, helicopters. If you have to, you might have to resort to bicycle and pedal your way out of there. It is faster than walking on the side of the freeway. Hopefully, they get their stuff together and they open both lanes heading out and clear everybody out. I mean, I would get rid of everybody. First responders don't need to be there. This thing, when it comes in, is just going to be. I have a really bad feeling. I prayed that it goes away, but I have a feeling I know what's going on here, and watch out, Florida. That thing might act like a buzzsaw and saw that state in half, and we might be referring to, if this part gets taken out, we might be referring to the island of Florida, not the state of Florida, the island of Florida, because these lowlands get filled in with water over and over and get, deteriorated from hurricane abuse right through there. It could sever off that part of the land from the lower 48. I mean, you see how all these communities are severed off and they're in the 48. Let's talk about that for a second. These people in here that are suffering right now, they're severed off from the rest of this country, aren't they? And they're right inside of it. So, like I'm saying, take this seriously, you guys. Everybody's doing their due diligence to report this. I'm trying to be as responsible and calm as possible. I want to be jumping up on the desk right now saying, what the hell is the matter with you people in that state? Get out of there. Every single person I would get out of there, just abandon it. It's going to get, it's going to be rough. And there's more. This season's not over. You can see other stuff out here brewing, and we don't have our sandstorm protection so much anymore. We do have it pulling some out, but it gets caught up in these hurricanes. Okay, hopefully it diminishes this one and kind of keeps it under wraps. You got more up here rotating around, and all this is all due to thermal enhancement from down below. And now the spiritual realm, from what I captured in the sky today, it's on. The spiritual realm is all over the sky. It is. Whew. I pray you guys don't see it like so intensely as I do, because you probably wouldn't go out of your house. All right, I'm trying to capture this. This camera doesn't like this color, but there's your strong, intense sandstorm right there, reaching out, doing a pretty good job covering this area. I want to see it go all the way up through there and cover all of this area, because right now this isn't where our hurricane's genesis is happening. Our hurricane brewed right here and went across, and now it's going this direction. We have an easternly bound hurricane that started like over here and went across. So it's a different formation. And the sand, even though it's way out there, is not having any kind of effect as far as hindering stuff that just forms right in the Gulf. Okay, let's come on over to this side. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. This eye getting very intense. This one's still there. You can see the like broken nose or the hole right there. But very intense sand plumes all covering this area now. They're starting to get filled in right there. All right. And boy, hopefully you don't see that, but there's a lot going on there. Okay, spread all the way out here to the Atlantic, or to the Pacific, I'm sorry. And then you could see this reach coming over here and connecting up to this stuff in the Pacific. So we got, sandstorms reaching from the east into the North Pacific, and then we got sandstorm or sand material reaching from the east or reaching westwardly into the Pacific. Easterly. Wow. You can see a little dividing line right through there, though. And it's filling in, too. So, meanwhile, down this region doesn't have the sand at all, so it's not hampering any of their storm activity. All right, so there's that. This is an interesting effect right here, this round thing with a big old swirl coming off up into this one. All right, let's get you into the chemicals now. Our SO2 report. This is sulfur dioxide, okay? Not CO2, not plant food. I got you thinking that's poisonous. It's plant food. This is SO2. This is poisonous. This is vaporized lava, okay? For lack of a better term, it's the gas that surrounds the magma down below. And it's pushing on the underside of the crust, trying to get through, trying to break through any perforation in the crust, any weak spot, any path of least resistance, okay? Well, the gas is much finer than liquid, and it can come out through these pores in the planet a lot better than the liquid can. So there's your country divided right there. You can see it's bleeding out on one side over here. We got all, SO2 emissions, very porous, very soft ground where a lot of gas can easily escape through small pores. Over here, thicker crust, more rocky, mountainous, but we have perforations like volcanic sites and stuff where it leaks out, okay? There's your country divided. Because y'all keep falling for their lies. That's why we're divided, because it's fall for their lives, man. It's so deceptive. All right. Before we had fire activity because of this SO2 gas emission comes out of the ground so hot it sparks surrounding vegetation. But no longer is a problem up in Canada. It has now come down to the lower 48. Oh, great. The lower 48. We got fires here in Oregon caused by SO2 emissions coming out of the ground so hot they spark surrounding vegetation. Okay. This is thousands and thousands of degrees hot. Okay. The darker the color, the stronger the emission site. And we see more concentrated fires at darker sites, aren't we? Interesting how these all coalesce with the fires. Hmm. Things that make you go, That's more than just coincidence, folks. That is your SO2 gas sparking fires from underground. And that's what they don't want you to know. They want you to think that the, DEW weapons from space are starting these, and that way you'd be scared. And here, they don't want you to know they're just out of control. There's nothing they can do. These fires are sparked from underground. And every time we get a burp from down below, the Earth absorbs a lot of geomagnetic energy from the sun. Yep, it comes up to the surface in the form, it burps, and that pressure comes from down below all the way up to the surface, and all of a sudden these plumes flare up and spark fires. And I can tell when there's a flare because I can look down the Sierras here and I can see plumes popping up in fires. And I'm like, oh, bet we just had a round of pressure today. Very, very disturbing what's happening here. Okay. You guys, I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm not fear mongering. This is a warning. This is what happens. Okay. If you're around these plume sites, you might see a fire. Okay. And they can open up and, seal up too. Some of these do their thing for a while and then calm down, and another one next door opens up and pressure transfers to another path of least resistance. Whew. Meanwhile, fires all the way down to Southern California, fires all the way down to Mexico now. See them down here? See, before this activity had crept as far south as Mexico, and it's doing it again. I repeat, before it did it, now it's doing it again. Okay, as we come over here, we're starting to see, well, no, none of those count because there's lots of factories and stuff over there. And these are not volcanic. These are volcanic in nature. What you're looking at is a small volcanic eruption causing a fire. I will look at one of these wildfires one day, the ones that popped off in Wyoming, and just to go look at the fire cloud, whatever. It wasn't a cloud of smoke. It was a cloud of ash. It was a volcanic eruption and that started a fire just like this. And they went, oh, hey, there's a fire over here now. Well, yeah, no surprise, because when SO2 comes out of the ground this hot, it might as well be a volcanic eruption because it starts a fire. Okay. Now, as we continue, let's go down Mexico. It's got its little sites doing its thing. You can see Cuba. It's got emission sites all along it. Jamaica. Well, that's for another reason. That's the Purple Kush there. No, I'm joking. Now, over here, you can see these islands. Each one of these islands is emitting SO2. Yes or no? Yeah, they sure are. Your Virgin Islands are no longer virgin. They have SO2 emissions now. We have going down through here, northern part of South America, all the way down past the equator. We're getting down into our fulcrum point here. Check this area. This is the fulcrum point on the plate boundary, just on land. Here's our emission sites. They're doing pretty good. This is the path of least resistance, so this one's always pretty strong. I like to come just make sure it didn't grow too big, or, it's a good judge to see what happens here. This one up here as well. They're not very defined. They look more kind of blobbish tonight. So that tells me there's a lot of gas coming out of there. It's like combining with this site, is combining with that site. And our little fifth site right here is going pretty well too. And if this almost looks like a new site right here, opening up just between this and this right out here. This would be a new little cube, a new little site right there. Meanwhile, I'm coming down through here. It looks like this is kind of diminished. Usually, this is all really dark purple. It's usually like this all the way down. So we've seen a little decrease in emissions right there. You can still see we got a pretty healthy plume of SO2 that's out there. So there is plenty coming out. It just looks a little lower than regular for right now as far as that region. Stop off in Hawaii for a Mai Tai on the beach. Yep, still SO2 emissions coming out all three islands. This one's staying pretty strong. That's good. The hub of the Pacific Rim has to release pressure as well, so it does it in earthquake and volcano form. Okay, back up a little bit to their time zone. All right, looking in at China. Real bad, very intense. Lots of SO2 emissions, okay? They have very porous ground, very soft ground there too. Not so much out here, very compact. But here's India following suit. Okay, they're darkening in too. And you got it darkening all the way up into here, down into the Korea Peninsula. Not only are they in hot water, but they got SO2 emissions problems too. Smells like rotten eggs, probably. Meanwhile, the volcanic island of Japan, lots of SO2 emission sites. Even up past the Kamchatka up here, up in these little tundra area, all breaking out like it's got monkeypox or something up there of SO2. Just looks like a case of monkeypox or chickenpox or something. Now I want to come on down here. Oops, there we are. And come on in to Taiwan. This is another fulcrum point on our plate boundary system right here. And a lot of pressure comes out of this region via earthquake and SO2 emissions. Well, we haven't seen much quake activity, and the SO2 emissions keep getting stronger and stronger. All right, so it is relieving pressure in this region, and we have seen a little thermal increase in here, but that's being kind of still regulated pretty well by our little relief valve here at Taiwan. Meanwhile, strong emissions here at the northern part of the Philippines. We come on down to check into Java every day here, and strong emissions at this part of the island where Semeru and Merapi are. But the rest of the island, there's a few little spots. And then some of these little islands going along here have volcanic or SO2 emissions because they're volcanic islands. Real quick here, Sumatra. This island has filled in over the course of time, and finally it is all getting purple like Java is. And even the islands offshore here are having SO2 emissions as well. Okay, so note that for later. Then we come over to this little island right here. It's not much, but these two little emission sites act like a little slow leak in a bicycle tube. They release pressure, not a lot, but it's like a slow leak that helps pressure when it comes in this region, reduces it a little bit. We are also seeing from our deep quake region here at Fiji, Tonga, this region around here is where a lot of our deep quakes come from, and we're seeing SO2 emissions from these sites as well now. Okay. Um, New Zealand, they have their issues, and of course, you can see Australia as well. Now, I just take a quick peek over here at Europe. This area darkening in, I think we at this channel understand why. Okay, you seeing the eyes over there staring down this area. And their sites are increasing in number and darkening in quality as well. And we have a plate boundary that runs down the middle of the Red Sea right there. I sure hope that's not like a line of emissions going right down the middle of the Red Sea. See that purple stripe? Hopefully that's from wind. Tell me that's from wind, please. It cannot be. Um, mm, I'm gonna watch that closely, though. That really does not look like wind. You see how the wind patterns are? Here, let's go close up on a section. Now, they're all over the place compared to that line. I mean, if there was a wind boundary pushing this way and another one pushing that way, and they both came together, but that is not. Maybe shipping or something. That might be coming up from the plate boundary that runs right up that. Is what I'm thinking. That's what it's kind of looking like. We'll have to watch it for a little bit longer because it does go along the shipping channels, and you can see how this gas. These are air patterns for flights and stuff, and it gets strung along some of these air patterns. But that is not a flight pattern. That matches up with the plate boundary that's running through that area. All right, we'll go to that here in just a minute, but we got to get over to the ocean report. Everybody take a deep breath because this part is going to be a little cray. All right, we're looking at our thermal water anomalies, okay? These hot spots in these waters up here in the North Atlantic, these hot spots are being caused by volcanic emissions on the ocean floor. Now, that means lava, it could be lava, steam, even hot water coming out, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be lava or magma, but there is some thermal event on the ocean floor, and that hot water rises up in a column, and once it hits the surface tension spreads it out in a big plume, and you get these heat plumes at the surface because of volcanic activity on the ocean floor. And look at how it's increased in this region. Look at this. There's a spot where there's none, a spot where there is. Interesting. Little squares cut out. All right, so a lot has changed down in this region over the last week or two. A lot of it was more up here in central. So we're getting heating in this area. This is where a lot of our hurricane genesis is usually, but not right now. Our hurricane genesis is coming from this region right here. Do you see the hot spot that's growing right there? This thermal anomaly that's inside the Gulf? As if the water in here isn't hot enough and bad already. Now we got a thermal anomaly going on in there as well. I want to come up here and take a peek at the Juan de Fuca. This is looking okay here. We still have cold water inundation along the shoreline. We have these blossoms that are inside the plate right here. There's still indication that pressure's under there pushing up and causing hot water plumes right along that area. It relieves part of the pressure, but we could still use earthquake activity out here just to kind of keep this at bay, because you see right off the coast here is a big old blob. Okay, we need this to kind of keep relieving pressure as it builds, relieve it, and as it builds, relieve it some more, because these blobs are getting bigger and bigger and more concentrated, more organized. Here we are out at Tamumasi, and a lot of the seamounts on the ocean floor out here, whether they're spewing hot water, magma, steam, SO2. Okay, there could be SO2 emissions coming out of the seafloor so hot, just like on land, so hot that they're not sparking fires underwater, but they are creating hot plumes that travel up to the surface. Yes? No? You with me? Hello? Make sense? There you go. So, your hot water, no matter what is causing it, it's SO2, gas, magma, whatever. Something's causing your heat emissions, these hot water plumes. And like I was telling you, Korea's in hot water right now, North and South Korea. Japan's surrounded by it. Okay, and it's still white right here off of Japan. White denotes the the intensity of it, okay? And the white in this area is kind of, well, there's a little bit in there. Not too much, but there's still white. And let me pull up the color chart. White being the most intense. This is your neutral. Water getting warm, warmer, warmer, starting to get hot, and then white hot. Over here, cool, colder, colder, ice cold. Okay. So very hot water out there. And this hot water has hot air above it. Cold water has cold air above it. Hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it, and then we get thermal. Well, we get in these vortexes because of the thermal patterns. Whoa, do you see that? Right there, there's an eye, face coming out of the earth. Okay, I want to come over here to check on Java anyway. You got little bitty yellow starting to grow off the coast here. Now, this area used to have cold water because of the thermal emissions and all the SO2 and the earthquake activity in this region, right? And it was keeping cold water there. Well, it's plugging up. It's not doing so well. It's not relieving a lot of the pressure. And now we're seeing heat signatures starting to build and starting to, relieve pressure out here off the ocean. Meanwhile, here's these islands off of Sumatra that I showed you with SO2 emissions. Let me show you these islands run right up, and then what do you see right up here at the top where there isn't an island, but there probably will be soon? It's next in line. Ding, 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 ding. What do you think's going on right there? Think it's just a hot tub floating in the middle of the ocean? No, there's a thermal vent on the ocean floor creating a plume right there out in the middle of nothing. And when we show you here on this earthquake map, let me just get this loaded up really quick here. Right here, right off the Sumatra right here, is this area. Here's Sumatra. We got this thing and then this. This little guy is coming to life underwater. Oh, well, looky here. It's a volcanic seamount on the ocean floor, already there. Coming to life, spewing a bunch of hot water right there. Okay, and then you got other sites that have opened up down here. You can see it spreading around. We got cold water, hot water separation right here. If it wasn't for this southern fetch coming up, there would be vortex activity probably intense right there. And the moment that, whoops, let me go ahead and put the winds on now. There we go. Let me pull back now, and I want you to remember hot air rising, cold air sinking. This is your wind patterns correlating with your heat patterns on the ocean surface here. Bring it over to here. A lot of this activity was, coming up to the shore and then going down the coast and back out. Finally, a little bit's able to creep up over through here and get up into Canada a little bit. It's breaking away from that cycle. But you can see that this big vortex out here has got its own little, it's tightened up. This conveyor belt structure is kind of wobbly, wonky, all because of this vortex growing over here. So we've had a little change. We've got rotation forming over here that's put a bump in the whole conveyor belt system. It used to come up like that and go. Now this thing has nudged all this into, squeezed it all together. Okay, and that looks to be another storm forming out there that'll probably head towards China and Taiwan again. So these conveyor belt structures just form storm after storm after storm. And at one point, we were lucky that we did not see, 6 to 8 to 10 evenly spaced hurricanes, just one after another, after another, after another, riding these conveyor belt structures. Coming over here, I showed you already, cold water's gone from there, but you can see blue and hot down here rotating around, causing air to go from the southern hemisphere up into the northern latitudes, okay? You have air that's not supposed to cross the equator, your intercontinent or your intertropical convergence zone that should be here at the equator is now way up at this latitude. Let me bring you over here. See how this air has come up past the equator up to this latitude, and when it finally meets air from the north, is right around here. But all of this that's supposed to stop here at the equator has crept up to that latitude. Okay, and that's your intertropical convergence zone shifted by 15 degrees latitude. All right, so there's your vortex activity for right now. There it is over on the east coast, or on the Atlantic. Watch out for this area. Big storm coming off of this, heading towards Great Britain, Spain, France, Europe, that whole area. Watch out. You guys are getting the reverse. You're getting the cyclones coming at you cold style sometimes. So very, very complex setup as we go into through transition season here. I also want to do really quickly here our thermal anomaly here in the Gulf. These are your standard sea surface temperatures now, mind you, not anomalies, but standard sea surface temperatures. Purple all through this region. Take away the winds. You see this purple spot right here. This is where our hurricane genesis is starting. And it's going to get pulled into that line, go right across Florida there. Okay, now with this thermal, with all this heat here and our little thermal anomaly and hotspot here going on inside the Gulf, all it takes is any kind of geomagnetic enhancement too, and it's on. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing the byproduct of this geomagnetic enhancing with the hurricane at the same time. And it blossomed, 50 points in a few hours and really scared everybody. And it's good reason, because this thing is to be taken seriously. Okay, now let's get off of the wind. Let's change over to, we did that, we did this. One more really quick I got to talk about. Every once in a while, we got to cover SO4, all right? Now, SO4 is another sulfide, another sulfate compound. SO2 has 2 oxygen atoms per molecule. SO4 has 4 oxygen atoms per molecule. So it's sulfur quad oxide, I like to call it, just for layman's terms, okay? Whether it comes out of the ground or man-made doesn't matter on this map. It's the fact that it's all over the place, all right? And something about this particulate, when nucleation happens, okay, it doesn't just adhere to the particulate, it actually does a chemical bond with the water, with the particulate. This is the particulate bonding with water. And when H2O bonds with SO4, you get a new chemical compound called H2SO4, which is known as sulfuric acid. Okay? We have components for sulfuric acid all over the place, the entire planet. Your storms, they suck up this gas, this particulate gets pulled up into your storms. What's a storm made out of? Water. Oh, yeah, and it bonds with what? Water. Oh, yeah. So now you got storms that are sulfuric in nature, sulfuric acid in nature. Okay. Not only is this storm going to hit with storm surge, tornadoes, large hail, high winds, just every weather component possible, throw in some sulfuric acid while you're at it. Okay, very disturbing, but I have to show you. These people are not doing their responsibility in reporting on real stuff. I'm talking mainstream media. Alternative media is where it's at. You guys know that. Okay, we're done here. Let's get out of this instrument and come on over to our quake report now. Whew, come on, look at that for so long, huh? All right, deep quake region. No deep quakes in our region right now or earlier today, but we do have energy coming into the system. Now, remember, this is the beginning of a crack that reaches down through the crust, all right? So this crack is the path of least resistance. Any deep quake in this region likes to, come to the surface energy here. We have our island that reduces pressure and should be cutting it down. But we have a 5.5 here. This is down at 139. This is not your typical 5 at the surface, nor is it on the plate boundary. This is our volcanic activity, earthquake activity at a volcanic site. Yes or no? Good. You guys figured this stuff out good. All right, as we continue up, volcanic activity all through these islands, keeping quakes down. Very quiet around here lately. Come over here into this deep region, and sure enough, we got a 4.4 down at 406. Okay, the quakes in this region don't necessarily produce a bigger one at the surface. They are an indicator that we have a new wave of pressure coming up from below. I expect we'll see some deep quakes in this region here pretty soon, too. Meanwhile, coming up through here, you got your 4.7 down at 35. Again, at this depth, it's a volcanic feature. Something going on along these little islands right here. New little seamount forming down in there or something. Coming up to here, 4.9 at the surface. You know what we do with 4.9s here, especially at the surface. Scrubbing energy there, possibly. Fulcrum point, very quiet. We need to see more quake activity around that region. Now, I'm not saying a big one, but we could use some mid-range 4 or 5 activity, or else they will see a big one. Meanwhile, over here, 4.2 down at 311, deep quake on right at the split of 2 mountain ranges, underwater mountain ranges that split right there. That'd be like a fulcrum point in itself right there. That's way down in there. Little volcanic activity going on there. Very quiet up through this region. Okay. Oh, we forgot to go down here really quick. A 5.8 at the surface here at the Kermadec Islands. So pressure being relieved at the surface, almost a 6. A 4.7 in the same region right there. So some of the energy that, is making its way around the region makes it to the surface right here, and a pretty healthy quake for this region. They haven't seen that in a while. We also have another plate boundary over here, 5.7 at the surface. Very quiet all through China, Europe, everything. Come over, check out Greece really quick. 4.3 at the surface, right on the plate boundary, relieving energy. Now, wait. What was this? 5 here down at 105. Called that one? Yeah, we did. Really quick, touch it off with the 4.2, 4.1, and 4.0. Okay, good. And what was this? 5.0. Okay. All right, let's go all magnitude for America. Close this out. All right, here we go. Volcanic activity up here at the Kamchatka fulcrum point. We're leaving energy there around that region, that weak spot area. Now, as we come into our quakes along these islands here, again with this spot here, we had a little flurry here the other day. 4.4, 4.3, 3.1, right along this little. There's like a little rift or something about to open up right through here, it looks like maybe. You can see smaller microquake activity here at volcanic islands, indication of pressure down below. These aren't like volcanic islands or nothing. There's a quake right there on the flank of it. Okay, ooh, a recent one in red is a 2.6 though. Now let me back out. We're a little too close in. So microquake activity going through the volcanic island chain through here. We come up to our fulcrum point. Very active right now. A lot of little red dots going on right now as we speak. Biggest being 2 in magnitude, fulcrum point 2.4 there. So 2 to 2.6. Recent activity around our fulcrum point here in Alaska. Coming down, nah, not even worth counting. But here we go, right at our fulcrum point of the Juan de Fuca. I love to see 2.6, 1.7. That's some. We'll take every little bit we can get, but it's not enough. We need more activity. A little stronger magnitude, as long as it doesn't set off a tsunami. I'm not asking for, eights or anything like that. But if we don't keep regulating pressure along this region via these fulcrum point quakes, volcanic emissions and stuff, SO2 emissions, we could possibly see a bigger quake when that. If we don't keep relieving this, you can see that the Earth has got its little process, its little machine of when pressure comes in. Well, all of a sudden it comes venting out through this, causes an earthquake there, volcano eruption here. So there's this like pincushion type effect of the crust of the planet that relieves pressure as it comes up from down below. 2.2 here in MacArthur, California. Very, very small, quiet activity through California. The geysers doing their thing. Nothing too big. Magnitude check on the one or San Andreas 1.8. No big deal. No quake swarm activity down in this region. Let's magnitude check that too. Right there. Right on the edge of this is a 2.1 here at Bear Lake. Okay, there's this little almond shaped feature right here. You can see the plate boundary is part of the back side of this. And as it curves, you can see part of it breaks through these mountains, goes the actual fault breaks through the mountains and goes up through this way. But there's this curvature effect that comes out into the ocean. This whole thing, this big curve right here that connects up with the plate boundary, continues out into the water on this shelf and back around. And we're seeing pressure build up and release in this bubble area right here. Over on this map, let me take it back to the oceans. There it is. Ow. Right here in this little bay, it had turned yellow. There was a lot of pressure that had built up. It was even releasing stuff offshore. But we had these little guys open up here, which transferred pressure to the path of least resistance, new weak spots that opened up and took away a lot of the pressure in that region. And we saw some of the 5 earthquake or, magnitude 4s and 5s and stuff offshore happening. Well, it's diminished now. A lot of the magnitudes have dropped. There's not much offshore activity anymore. And if you look, it's really kind of let up in this region. Okay, so hopefully you understand that that's happened. And that's the reason for our reduction. We still have microquake activity there, which is good. We always need that. But it's not nothing too crucial right there. Now, as this next round of pressure comes in from down below, the Earth is right now absorbing a lot of this geomagnetic effect. And this is actually dropped from red into an orangish brown again. So it looks like it's dissipating since the show. So we're probably going to we might hit G4 and then back down to G3 or something. But meanwhile, as we come into Texas, really quick, just magnitude checks, nothing big. We are going to see more earthquake activity here coming and larger magnitudes with this new inbound wave of pressure. Magnitude check, everything's all normal over here, okay? So, little energy release right here, that was good. for these guys right here. And that's right on the plate boundary here. You got Volcanic Island. And right off the coast of it, right there. We'll watch that little region there. They just relieved some, but it's a new path of least resistance that's opened up right there. So we'll monitor that. That could be a new spot in the coming days when we see pressure, a new round of pressure come in. Okay, so we're all done with that. Let's get on over to our volcano, do the weather, and then we'll get into the spiritual part. And wait until you see what I captured today. You can cheat and go over to my channel to the community and look now, but I'll be showing it here in a minute anyways. Now, 35 erupting and 33 in active. All right, so we're back down to 68. We were at 69 earlier today, but I guess they took one off the list magically. Anyways, let's get into it. Here's Ducono doing its thing. Ducono explosive activity continues to 8,000 feet. Remember, this is more ash. Every day we're getting more and more and more ash up to 8,000 feet. And that was just in a few minutes. Here's that wasn't very long for the 8th. Let's just get into 7th. This map is nuts. That should wake everybody up. Looking at that map right there. But we get desensitized to things so quickly anymore that you see that, and it's just a map. 8,000 feet out of Suwanosujima. Manam, our latest player on the list, is still at 8,000 feet. That's more ash particulates clinging to more water, making more raindrops. Luatobi, 10,000 feet. We have just quadrupled our potential for the air to hold moisture. 10,000 feet. Semaru, 14,000. It can go higher at 15. Maybe that's the problem. Semaru here isn't blasting at 15 anymore. It's down to 14. And it's not relieving as much pressure as it used to. I think maybe that's why we're seeing a lack of cold water inundation in that region. Anyways, back to Fuego here, 16,000 foot blast. Nevada del Ruiz didn't have an elevation, neither did Sangre or Reventador, but they're all here on the map. Sabancaya, 22,000. Here is the list of that map that I showed you currently erupting. 7 years ago, when all this stuff started happening to me, there was one volcano in Hawaii, and it was just because it was Hawaii, okay? Now we are 68 active volcanoes. If I'd have told you 7 years ago we'd have 68 active volcanoes, you would have said you're crazy. Well, here we are, and I am still crazy about you. And so it's Barren Island, Bizamani, Ducono, Ebico, Erebus, Erdaale, Etna. Everybody in Italy, watch your Etna. Fernandina, Fuego, Home Reef, Ebo. These are all currently erupting, by the way. Iwo Jima, Karaminski on the Kamchatka, Kilauea, Krakatau, Luatobi, Luatolo, Marapi, Messiah, Merapi on Java. So we got 2 on Java. Michael on the South Sandwich Islands, Namira, Gira, Niragongo, Popocatépetl, Reventador, Sabancaya, Sakarajima, Sangay, Sanguino, Semaru, Shivalu, Stromboli. All just currently erupting. Oh, and these are all active too, so any one of these could hop over to this list as soon as this pressure as soon as this energy gets down to the core and the shell are going to heat up, expand, and send that energy back upwards. And all of these, not all of these, but all of these on this list, some of these could be hopping over here, going fully active, and we could also see a brand new player that has never been on the list come out of nowhere and become a new active volcano. Okay, we are done with the volcano report. Let's do a quick little weather report here. If we can get up the tidbits. Tidbits was having some tidbitical problems, but they were only tidbit problems. They were tidbitical. Okay, as we get into our hurricane now, right now, as it sits right here at well, they're saying 973. We'll get into pressures later. What I want to do is come back to here now to our geomagnetic forecast. Okay. We are currently at G3. Currently still at G3. This spike right here, it's going down to brownish. It was red, so we might see our next spike maybe a little bit higher at G4. We'll see. This thing isn't as accurate, doesn't update as fast as everything else on this page. So G3 still enhancement because we're still seeing auroras. All right, for the 8th. Now that's going to cause cloud nucleation to enhance this all through the 8th. Here's the morning of the 8th. Add enhancement to that. Noontime, add enhancement to that. Especially at convection, you're going to see a lot of enhancement. Then at nighttime, and it might calm down a little bit, but there's 962. It'll be way lower than that. Then as we get into the morning of the 9th, we come over here. 9th, they're calling all clear, but I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay? 9th will be 3 days back, would be the 6th. So let's come see what happens on the sun on the 6th. Okay, nothing too bad. Just this little small impulse right there. Maybe a couple little small burps or something, but nothing too big. No X flare, no nothing, but maybe that little burst and then a little bit here. So we might get a couple of little bumps of enhancement. Nothing too big, maybe G1 on the 9th, okay? So on the 9th, as we go into the morning of the 9th, maybe slight enhancement as it approaches the coast, but it's already going to be a monster by then. All right, we don't need any more enhancement. But there we go. By noon, the 9th, 955 millibar by convection. I can't even see what that 956 are calling. That'll all change though. But at nighttime, October 9th. Now, here, let's back up just really quick. I'll talk about this and get it out of the way. At noon here, this is 11 a.m. Pacific. So it's going to be noon, 1, 2 in the afternoon. Now here at convection, this is 5 p.m. Pacific. That's when the sun kind of starts going down. 5, 6, 7. It'll be 8 o'clock at night as this is making landfall here, the intense part. So this is going to be looking like a nighttime landfall, which would be just devastating with 20-foot storm surge. I know they're all saying 15 and stuff right now, but the way this enhancement's going, and we could possibly see, they were talking about 20-foot storm surge on Helene, and it wasn't a Category 5. I repeat, we had some pretty nasty storm surge from Helene, and it wasn't a Category 5. All models are showing, and a lot of people are really starting to get concerned. This is going to be Category 5 maxi hurricane. It's going to be very strong, and it might even, be the strongest recorded. And it'll be the strongest in our lifetimes, okay? But as far as all over, all in all, it's already breaking records. The enhancement, the bombogenesis that I told you happens from geomagnetic activity was witnessed already to a point that it made the weatherman cry. You heard him cry in his voice. He was scared, okay? When you hear scientists, you hear a crack in their voice and they're scared, it's because they see something, they know something. All right. And when I see this stuff, it's very, very concerning. And thankfully, Ryan Hall, Max Velocity, they're teaming up, they're doing the best they can to get the word out there. And I'm gonna back them up and just tell you, look, this is no time for first responders either. Everybody get out of there. This thing is coming in with maximum force with Solar enhancement. Do not play games with this. I know people are trapped. I know gas is an issue and stuff, but there are other ways besides cars. There are boats, planes, bicycles. Get out of there at any cost. And if I were a first responder and they told me to come into work for this, I would say, I'm sorry, but I'm not. Your life is too important. Storm chasers, I know you got vital footage and stuff, but set up a camera on a telephone pole and get out of there. Don't hang around for this storm surge. Don't hang around because the aftermath, you might not be able to escape the aftermath. Oh, yeah, you survived the hurricane, but now you're stuck on the island of Florida for 4 months. And you can't get off. And then afterwards, another hurricane comes, another hurricane comes, another hurricane comes, and there's no one coming to your rescue. Remember, there's no one coming to your rescue. See where I'm pointing? Remember? You guys learning lessons from this stuff yet? That's why I tried to warn this area the same way I'm trying to warn this area. There's nobody coming to your rescue. You might want to kind of bail and consider staying gone, or, this is a very dangerous time now that we're in, and this is a very dangerous area to be living in this dangerous time. Anywhere along the coast, especially when we're seeing earthquake activity and we're seeing thermal, well, we don't have the thermal anomaly map now, but we're seeing those anomalies, and we're seeing activity like this coming out of our sun, and we're seeing this 3-day rotation, or this 3-object rotation. Come back here. It used to be, once a year, and then once every 6 months, and then once every 3 months, and then once every month, and then now it's every week. A couple of times a week, we have big objects interacting with the sun. That is ramping up. The more it ramps up, the more earthquake activity ramps up, the more we get storm activity that ramps up as well. All right. When you understand everything that I put together in a big nutshell there, it's kind of makes sense to maybe start backing away from the coast. All right. I know people can't just pull up and leave at the moment's notice, but you better start figuring it out really quick here. I've been trying to tell you this for a long time. 7 years we've been doing this show, and now we're getting into the where it counts phase. Okay. And you saw what the other storm did. All right. It's not necessarily just going to be here in Florida. If this thing continues, let's just see what they're calling for here. But that'll be the 10th. It'll be cleared by convection the 10th. It shows it going back out to sea and dissipating. I hope that's the case. The rest of this is so far out of we have so many players now. All right. And I'm going to tell you straight up right now, it's the spiritual realm. All right. And I'm going to show you what I captured today. So we're done. Let's get over here now. All right. Before I start showing you guys this stuff, you might want to take a deep breath. All right. And it might look pretty and cute and fluffy and fancy and stuff, but it's real. And when you wrap your mind around what you're seeing here, okay, here's the dragon sitting there in the sky staring at me when I'm outside watering the lawn. I turn around, look up in the sky. I told you I have these faces that watch, follow, and study me everywhere I go. There's the dragon right there. All right, I shouldn't have opened that up. I should go back and just open up the community and start scrolling. All right, so it started off as a dragon right here. And then turned into this pink fox. And I'm going to leave it right there for a second. And see if you guys can see the little pink fox. Okay, you can even see his little mouth and nose and stuff down here. And you can come over here to this, open them up and zoom in on them and stuff. And then this Satan skull with horns and ears and teeth. Thing actually had teeth in it. And these things are staring right at me. I mean, they make eye contact with you. It's very chilling when something in the sky, a big old face in the sky, makes eye contact with you. All right, now this is more like the cartoonish wolf out of the cartoons, but he's got this long nose right here. This is his chin, his ears going up here. Can we zoom on this channel? Do this? Because there are eyes. Whoops, that didn't work too well. There are eyes in the wolf. Hopefully, let's try dimming this a little bit. Move this pointer out of the way. So the wolf really has eyes, real ears, and everything. I've shown you the wolf before captured. Then this is nuts. This face is crazy, crazy, crazy. It multiple dimensions, and further back, if you step further back, it's a dragon. Then as you go, if you make this the eye, here, let me, I think we're too zoomed in now on this thing. Just get back to regular. Yeah, this one's crazy because it's a cat, and there's the nose, and it's a small little cat face. But then if you put the eyes up here, and this becomes the black nose of a wolf, and then if the eyes are up here, it's actually a dragon. It's a dragon wolf cat. 3 faces in one, multi-dimensional, happening in the clouds, looking right at me. And see the eyes of the cat in there? Okay, and then where's the next one? All right, and then this is like a pit bull dog with his head down. There's his nose and his little cheeks. There'd be the eye and the other eye on the side, and here's his head with his ears flying back like a pit bull type dog. And then here's this giant cat face. Look at this thing, you guys. This was crazy. There's an eye here, an eye there. You can see the nose and the cat. And then there's like a little dog or something over here, too. It's not working too well. I would do that. Well, there's another face up here, too. See these 2 eyes? Multi-dimensional, multi-faces. This is the spiritual realm just going off in the sky today. Just going off. All kinds of creatures, entities, multiple faces, everywhere. Everywhere. Different dimensions, different eyes turning into different faces. Just sheer madness in your skies, dude. If you saw this stuff looking at you all the time, it would probably freak out. Especially when these eyes just make eye contact with you and just start staring at you, watching. And then there's another set of eyes right here. There's a smaller face right there. And then there's a cat face with the nose. Oh, yeah, there are more faces than that. There's just multi-dimensional. There's so much going on. If you guys were standing next to me while we were walking down the street, you probably wouldn't even notice I was there. You would be so fascinated with the sky wherever I go. All this activity just going crazy. And this one, this is like a skull with actual teeth. And ears and horns. It's a big old Satan face right there. And then hopefully you can see a little eye, mouth, nose of a fox. There's little chubby little face right there, pointed ear. The other ear's in pink up here. If you step back away from your screen a little bit, sometimes it's too close. If you're a couple feet back, it comes in a lot clearer. But these are real faces. This is not like pareidolia. Pareidolia is when you see a human face or whatever. These are different creatures, entities, and they change. This dragon was snarling at me and giving me the evil eye. So I put my hand up in the sky and pretended like I was scratching his head and gave him a little scratch behind the horn there. And it turned into a puppy dog with a tongue instead. And I said, "Where's your stick?" And he went, and this whole cloud right here, about 10 seconds later, turned into a big stick inside a dog's mouth instead of a snarling dragon. Because I just gave him a little scratch behind the ear. Said, "It's okay, bud. I'll give you a little pet." And he turned from a mean old dragon into a dog. And I said, "Where's your stick?" And he went, and this whole thing filled in and turned into a stick inside of its mouth. Pretty crazy stuff, but that was the opening frames of it. You see that eye right there looking at you? Imagine you look up in the sky and this stuff is just looking right at you. Multiple faces, too, not just this guy. There's all kinds of stuff in the other parts of the sky looking at it. It changes from one face into another, into this. Are they attempting to manipulate anything? These faces in the clouds? Not. They can. Good question. They are not manipulating. God is using them, and they help control the weather, if you see what I'm saying. Wow, there's multiple wolf faces. There's one right here with an eye. You see the nose coming down, see the ears. Here's a wolf right here, a small one right there. And then there's the big one, the eye, more like a cartoon wolf, like out of some kind of zany cartoon with big long nose and then this pointed little chin down here. And this was just all today, within like an hour time frame. While I was out trying to clean up the yard and do stuff. And this one, you'll have to come over and look at this. But if you make this an eye and this an eye up here, a bigger dimensional face, you'll see it's a dragon or a demon. But then if you go down here, you make this an eye and this an eye and this little kitty nose and the little split in the kitty's nose, on his lip right there and his chin. You can see that there's a little cat face, right? Here's his ear going up right there. Coming down the other ear right there. So there's the cat face right there. You can make out an eye, another eye. But then if we pull back and make this an eye, and the other eye is there, it's a wolf. Let me try to do this. And this becomes the black nose of the wolf. Black nose, and it's a bigger face of a wolf. So there are multiple faces in multiple dimensions. Some of them share the same eye, some of them. So it's very, you can tell it's a spiritual realm, especially when they're sharing an eye. And then there's a smaller face inside of a bigger face. You see this little dragon with an eye, an ear, this little face right here, cut out of the bigger face. So faces blending in with faces in the clouds. Only God could do this. Okay, this is God's handiwork. You're looking at the signs. When you see these things begin to happen, look up. You will see stuff in the clouds. You'll see him coming in the clouds with power and great glory. You'll see other stuff in the clouds as well. And that one is just crazy, multi-dimensional, and I called it the Dragon Wolf Cat. So, some of the spiritual realm on display in the clouds today. And when you see stuff like this in the sky, smiling, growling at you, You know, dog heads, dragon heads, demons, and then cats and lions and stuff. And then you see this weather. And you really think the spiritual realm has nothing to do with this hurricane, huh? Here, let me just show you a couple other things too. Get that out of there. Get that out of there. We are done with science reporting. But here we go. Here's your hurricane. Now, we have things that interfere that, well, let's just show you the spiritual realm at work controlling the weather. Shall we? Let me show you the spiritual realm at work controlling the weather. Albums, I believe. Is it doing? Oh, no, that's the Grinch. See the Grinch right here? His nose and puffy cheeks. That's the Grinch turning into the dragon. You see the dragon here? So these faces shift and change over the course of a period. Where is the one? Yeah, it's this one, I believe. Okay. Again, the wolf. Can you see his eyes here? Let me go that. Okay, you can see his eye here, an eye here, the inside of his ear, the black nose. And what does the wolf do? The wolf huffs and puffs, right? Blow your house down. Do you see clouds coming out of the wolf's mouth? Yes. Okay, the wolf is huffing and puffing and blowing out clouds. The wolf is huffing and puffing and gonna blow down your door. If I captured the wolf in the sky today, multiple wolves, by the way, there was this little small one up there. Remember this little face right here, too? See this wolf as well? Okay. So if the wolf is out there huffing and puffing, and I captured it today while this is nucleating and enhancing, gee, I have a duty to tell you guys to get out of that region. Everybody just clear out of there, okay? And even first responders, maybe back away a safe distance or something. I would not be right at ground zero because this has the potential to come in probably even stronger than a category 5. All right, I'm going to watch closely, and I pray that this doesn't happen, but I know what's right here. I know what's going on. And I have a feeling it's going after it, and there's nothing we can do. But sit back, pray for the people that are stuck in the way. Pray for people to get them out of there. It's time to really start using your ingenuity, make some calls, get some people, get a Cessna to land here, take a boat down there, get some people off the beach, take the boat, fly the Cessna out of there, whatever you have to do. The nearest airport, the nearest dock, the nearest thing. Airdrop bicycles in there, and they can pedal out if there's no gas and the traffic is too backed up. So think of things to do. It's time to be productive. Time is running out. We're running out of time. Okay? Time is of the essence here. Boom. Nighttime. Every second is valuable right now as far as preparations, as far as getting people out of there, packing up your stuff. You know, you might want to pack up like you're leaving for good. You know, take all the stuff that your valuables, Get your buddy's trailer from across the street because he's not going to be living there either. Everybody pack all their valuables in the car and get out of there because that place might be isolated for a while. It might be cut off from the mainland. And we still have Hurricane Genesis possible. You see this little thing forming over there, right? It could cross over and do the same thing. You see them hooking up and lining up 3 in a row right here. This kind of configuration happens in those celestial events, those stellar objects. I have a feeling it might be dealing with everybody's seeing these once in a lifetime events, right? Well, once in a lifetime storm, once in a lifetime earthquake, once in a lifetime volcanic blast. Man, you are living one life, one kind of special life, aren't you? It must be kind of around that time frame or something like that, huh? And then you see this face going, the eye, the ears blowing. All right, there is your spiritual realm in control of the weather, okay? The master of the air, well, would be in control of the weather, don't you think? Yeah, the wolf does have a zoot suit on. You saw that. Yeah, some of them do. Not all of them, but sometimes it shows up with the suit on, yeah. And then there's this thing, it drops down out of the clouds every once in a while, too. But what I'm more concerned about, I'm trying to tell you about, is the wolf and this activity, huffing and puffing, blowing, and causing storm activity. Okay? And we have this big old thing, Milton, moving through here. So everybody, I would take this as serious as a heart attack and do the best you can to get out of there. If you thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to vacate the area, I'm just going to have to ride it out. No. You're going to have to figure another way to vacate the area. Or, maybe your race is finished and you're ready to meet the wolf. Otherwise, I would take this as serious as a heart attack. Because there's that. I see the path that it's going on, and I know about I just know where some Air Force bases and stuff, everybody got different parts of the country has military sites. And this seems to be heading for a certain one. And I have a feeling it's on. Because the enhancement, the nucleation, everything all coming together at the same time, the perfect storm, gelling with the perfect storm, with our G-3 geomagnetic activity, yeah, I would really, really do my best to try to get out of that region and not be around for it. You might see something like this come out of it. Oh, no, don't show them that. All right, we're just going to wrap this up with our reading now. And let's get over to our better pictures here, because he is the wolf. I know one more thing we need to do. Where is that? Okay. Real event again. And there are, let's just say there are EVPs, electromagnetic voice print, that is residue from the spiritual realm. Okay, and it's left on the audio of this man's tape or this man's video. And in it, you can hear it say, he is the Christ who's coming quickly. And what I'm going to do is, it comes in a little fast. So I'm going to slow it down to 0.75 so you can hear it kind of clearly. Get a little bit of audio. I don't want to blow your eardrums out, but I'll post this in the link to this also in the community so you can come over here and put headphones on and listen. There are EVP messages in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and start this. There's some profanity. Please forgive the profanity. Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Oops.
Oh.
That was too much. Sorry.
Holy fucking shit, guys.
Sorry about that, guy. We're going to go with this speaker. All right, that was the first pass, and it says, Jesus is close. Or no, it says, in the flesh, he is the Christ who's coming quickly. Then there's a second strike. No message in that one, but there is one more. Go back to...
Oh no. Holy fucking shit.
That was 3 times it already showed up.
I think I'm gonna get a video of it because it's probably ringing around.
All right, here comes the next one.
Holy fuck.
Okay, when that one, there was a double strike. The first one is a shadow back here, and then it jumps here and touches his cane down. When his cane touches down and the lightning strikes, the message in the background is saying he's here. And you can hear it in the wind. The wind is actually blowing the words here. And it says, he is the Christ who's coming quickly up here. And then here it says, he is the wolf. He's in the flesh here. It's really hard to hear, but that's why I'm going to put this link up there and you can put your headphones on and listen. Now, I've had to deal with the EVPs, okay? You're not supposed to go into that area, all right? But they haunt me. They chase me, all right? So the EVP being attached to this video, these people don't know what EVP is. And it's hard to manipulate one, especially with the wind, okay? These are real EVPs attached to a real event. The EVP authenticates this event.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck.
Alright, so it says he is in the flesh here. Okay, and then there's one more where it strikes here. And that one scared him. That scared him, and he closed the door. I know that feeling. When something in the sky startles you, this is a natural reaction right here. This is a real event. This guy got spooked and closed the door because on the 5th pass, let me put this speed back to normal now. Okay, now we're going to do the whole thing beginning to end, no breaks, no talking.
Oh, holy fucking shit, guys.
Let me start again real quick.
Oh, holy fucking shit, guys.
Excuse the profanity, it's not mine.
I think oh no. Holy fucking shit. I don't think I'm going to be able to get video of it because it's not ringing around. Holy fuck. No, I think
I think you'd probably do the same too. You'd like see it gets closer to the house and close the door and run in. All right, but the messages, the EVPs are kind of important because they say in there that he's in the flesh and he's here. Okay, and he is. He's in the flesh. He's in the clouds. He's here. He's already here, man. Can't you see the signs? Got to read it right too. It says, "What would be a sign of your return?" Well, if you saw this and saw that and see these, well, that would be a sign of his return. He's already here. Been here for 7 years now. Still nobody's taken notice, but eventually they'll have no choice. And for you, you are the lucky few who got a good head start on everybody else. And the best part is this is real. And you guys are already getting glimpses of your victory, of your future, of your eternity. I know everything about you. You're just getting to know me, is all. Okay, so I really didn't have a very specific message picked out for today's reading. And let's just say with a lot of this activity going on in the clouds around you, it's kind of hard to focus on normal life. You guys are 1 foot in the spiritual, 1 foot in the physical. Well, I am too. But mine's kind of the opposite. I'm so much in the spiritual realm all day, and it gets hectic that I purposely have to put a foot in the physical world just to escape some of the chaos and the madness, right? And it's going to sound funny, but to escape the chaos and the madness, I go to the chaos and the madness of your mundane MSNBC, just to go check on what they're doing or whatever, right? But it's odd that I have to do the opposite to escape. Right? The bombardment in the spiritual realm is so intense that I have to put the camera down from the sky and take a foot back into the physical. Okay, so I have a feeling that might be happening to you guys here in the future. When the stuff in the sky becomes so obvious and so blatant and just so big and in your face, staring at you, it will give you the heebie-jeebies, okay? When you see the real event, real giant face staring right at you, a big old dragon, breathing clouds right at you like I'm gonna, start a tornado in your front yard, it can get a little spooky sometimes. But you got to remember, just reach up, scratch him behind the ears, give him a love. That old dragon will turn into a big old puppy dog and come back with a stick. Okay, so very important that you guys see it. You guys start looking up. I mean, this stuff is all over the place, and you guys need to really start looking up. Everybody's so focused on, well, the storm, the politics, the war, but there's there's a lot going on there, a lot of distractions. And let's see, I got a couple of things that I guess we could do right here. Yeah, here we go. So as you look at these right here, all right, you're hearing my voice. My sheep know my voice. You would pick me out of a crowd if you heard my voice in the store or across the store. That's him. I know his voice. And when you look at these, I want you to understand that I am yours for all eternity. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the one who is and was and is to come, The world you inhabit is a place of constant change, more than your mind can absorb without going into shock. Okay? It's going to be changing so fast that your mind is going to go into shock. Okay? Because the world is full of so much that it's more than your mind can absorb. And you're going to try to absorb it and go into shock. So even the body you inhabit is changing relentlessly too, because of all the KP index changes or Schuman changes. Boy, I mean, so many things are affecting your body as well. Okay. So there are things going on in your mind, and your body's being affected as well. And in spite of modern science's attempts to prolong youth and life, I, however, am the same yesterday and today and forever. And that's something you can hold on to. That's that foundation, that rock that I never change. And because I never change, your relationship with me provides that rock solid foundation for your life. Understand, I will never leave your side. But when you move on from this life to the next, my presence beside you will shine brighter with each step. You have nothing to fear because I am with you for all time and throughout eternity, by the way. Okay? Now, it's going to be counter to what's going on, but I want you to learn to enjoy life more. At this stage, are you kidding me? Yes, at this stage, learn to enjoy life more. Relax and remember that I am God with you. I crafted you with enormous capacity to know me and to enjoy my presence. Not fear my presence, enjoy my presence, enjoy this show. I crafted you with that capacity. So when my people wear sour faces and walk through their lives with resigned rigidity, well, I'm disappointed. But when you guys walk through your day with childlike trust and delight, savoring every blessing, that's how you proclaim your trust in me, your ever-present shepherd. And the more you focus on my presence with you, hello, the more you focus on my presence with you, the more fully you can enjoy life. Not regret it, not despise it, enjoy it. The more you focus on my presence with you, the more fully you enjoy life. You glorify me through your pleasure in me. Did you know that? You glorify me through your pleasure in me. Thus, this is how you proclaim my presence to the watching world. It's you. You people here at this channel, the ones that are going to proclaim my presence. So will the sky. So will the earth. Stars, everything will proclaim my presence. And I know this is hard. And I know you get weary and you get weak. And that's precisely how it's supposed to work. Because when you're weary and weak, come to me when you are weary and weak. Rest snugly in my everlasting arms. I do not despise your weakness. It actually draws me closer to you because weakness stirs up my compassion. Ooh, did you catch that? Your weakness stirs my compassion. So, right now, I want you to take a look at what's going on in this world. You guys, your compassion is being stirred by the events that happened in Florida and in the Appalachians, right? Your Compassion is being stirred, isn't it? Actually, it draws me closer to you because weakness stirs up my compassion, my yearning to help. I have this yearning to help you guys. I know what's coming, I know what's happening, and I have this I feel like I want to help. And you guys are also feeling that yearning to help. That's the compassion. And that compassion needs to be stirred up in the society. Look around, there's hardly any compassion left. Well, in order for it to find it, it has to be stirred up. Now, accept yourself in your weariness, knowing that I understand how difficult your journey has been, and try not to compare yourself with others. In fact, do not compare yourself with others who seem to be skipping along their life paths with ease, because you're surrounded with that too, huh? You're having this hard time, this big struggle, and everybody else seems to be skipping through it with no problems. But do not compare yourself with others. Come back here, you. Oh, wait, we'll just stick with that one. Okay. The journeys, some people's journeys have been difficult and different from yours, and I have gifted them with abundant energy, but I have gifted you with fragility, providing opportunities for your spirit to blossom. Ah, spirit to blossom. How's your spirit blossom? Well, there have to be opportunities for your spirit to blossom, and I have gifted you with fragility, with frailty, with weakness, with needing compassion. Okay, I gifted you with that, and that provides opportunities for your spirit to blossom in my presence. When you realize you're in my presence, your spirit is blossoming, isn't it? You realize, hey, it's a real guy, real thing, really happening right now to you, not everybody else, not everybody else, just to you here at this channel, that's for sure. Okay, accept this gift that I give you as a sacred treasure and delicate yet glowing with brilliant light. And rather than struggling to disguise or deny your weakness, allow me to bless you richly through it. Because when you're overcoming you make it through another day with your weakness, that you overcame something. You made it through another day with your weakness, with your fragility. You are growing in strength. You are growing in self-esteem inside. Okay, you've taken this on. You realize a lot of this are like a red badge of courage. You're enduring. You're enduring, and you're being rewarded. Each overcoming is a glory, and you're just going from glory to glory to glory. Your spirit is blossoming in my presence. And then again, when I said, come to me when you're weak and weary, come to me and just keep coming to me, because this is my continual invitation to you, proclaimed in holy whispers. So when your heart and mind are quiet, you can hear me inviting you to draw near. Coming close to me requires no great effort on your part. It is more like ceasing to resist the magnetic pull of my love. Okay, I show you the one with the heart, that magnetic pull of my love. Well, all you have to do is quit resisting it. It's pretty easy, but it's just resisting the magnetic pull of my love. You guys are constantly resisting. So, open yourself to my loving presence so that I may fill you with my fullness. I want you to experience how wide and long and high and deep is my love for you, so that you can come to know me and come to know my love that surpasses knowledge. It surpasses your circumstances too. This vast ocean of love cannot be measured or explained, but it can be experienced. Can be experienced. Think about that for a minute. This vast ocean of love cannot be measured or explained, but it can be experienced. Are you guys experiencing love? Good. I sure hope so. As soon as I asked that, two people dip out. Nope, wasn't me. I wasn't experiencing love. I'll be right back when you're done loving me. That's that resistance again. But you guys will overcome it eventually. And then we'll close, I guess, with this, huh? You want this one? All right. Again, relaxing, enjoying. Okay. Where you already see your victory. You're acquiring little victories while we patiently wait. We're practicing that patient endurance too. And then you get to relax too. There is healing in all of this too. So relax in my healing, my holy presence. And holy sometimes gets misinterpreted as like perfect goody this. No. The definition of holy is set aside for sacred purposes. Okay, that's what holy means. It doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean a goody. It doesn't mean you're just all cherries and rainbows and unicorns all the time. No, it means set aside for a sacred purpose. Well, what happened to me, I was pulled aside for a sacred purpose. That it's a holy presence. So relax in my healing holy presence. Allow me to transform you through this time alone with me. As your thoughts center more and more on me, trust displaces fear and worry, and your mind is somewhat like a seesaw. As your trust in me goes up, fear and worry automatically go down, don't they? Again, the more trust you put in, the more peace you get out. It's proportional, just like that teeter-totter, the seesaw. As your trust in me goes up, fear and worry automatically go down. So what happens if fear and worry start going up? Tell me, what do you do if fear and worry start going up on your seesaw? Well, trust more in me. Because as you trust more in me, that trust goes up and the fear and worry go down. So time spent with me not only increases your trust, it also helps you discern what is important, what is not. You guys are getting really good at discerning what's important and what's not anymore, huh? Now that you see this and you understand who you are, that you're a true child of God, all of a sudden you got eyes and you can see all the way through a lot of this deception. Okay? Time spent with me not only increases your trust, it also helps you discern the deception in the world, what is important and what is not. Okay? This hurricane's important. What's not important are the political ads every 30 seconds on YouTube. Those aren't very important right now, by the way, YouTube. We got bigger fish to fry right now. What's important is getting people out of the storm's way, right? What's important is leading people to me and my presence. And then tell them as their trust goes up in me, their fear and worry will automatically go down too. You might have to spend some time with me, but it only increases your trust and helps you to discern what is important and what's not. That's so crucial right now. Now, also, as we're getting into this storm, energy and time are precious and they're limited entities. Therefore, you need to use them wisely, focusing on what is truly important. Focusing on what is truly important. As you walk close to me, saturating your mind with scripture, I will show you how to spend your time and energy. My word is a lamp to your feet. My presence is a light for that path, for your path. Okay? That's how you can relax in my healing, holy presence. Okay? Right now, energy and time are precious and they're limited entities. A lot of the people that are just hiking in there are hiking in there without consulting first. Lord, what should I take? Lord, what path should I go? And then say, how about a hedge of protection over me as I go stomping into the forest? All kinds of stuff that. Energy and time are precious. Focusing on what's truly important. Okay? You don't want to send all your resources to the wrong guy who's not going there, who's just going to rip them off. And then, wait a second, there wasn't anybody there in the first place. They already got rescued or something like that. It's important that your energy and time are precious. Okay? And that's why I thank you guys for your time here, because I went through a lot of different things. Okay, some very nasty things because people wouldn't give me 5 minutes of their time to receive a gift. It's not like, hey, I'm forcing you to believe something. No, I'm giving you a gift. And they're like, oh, you're seeing faces in the clouds, huh? You're crazy. No, you need to come over and look. I got locked up. I went through all kinds of crazy, weird agony, all kinds of weird mental torture from human beings because they didn't give 5 minutes of their precious time. And time is precious. And that 5 minutes that you gave me, the time that you give me, pays back dividends. It does. It really does. And you guys doing your salvage work every day, go get them. You're having success now. The ones that are having success, just keep going. Think about this for a second. Imagine where you would be if you hadn't practiced your salvage work. Where would you be right now if you hadn't seen this and you're maintaining your position right now? Some of these headlines probably would have rattled you a lot more. But now that you see this, you feel a little more comfortable. You're able to relax in my healing presence. Okay, I bring peace that transcends your circumstances. No matter what happens, not going to take this away from you. Okay? Not going to take this away from you. You've already there. You won. You have victory. We're just waiting patiently while we collect the rest of the sheep. I need your help too. This is a gift, and it's a gift that I give freely, and you can give it as well. If you see somebody that's down and out and needs some uplifting, open up my channel, go over to the Christmas gift video, freeze frame it, and show them this. Because it'll help them, just like it helped you. Okay? It's important that you pass this on because the light that shines from you into other people's lives. Okay? And at this time of the story, we're needing that as much as possible. So what you're seeing is my face in the clouds on Easter, coming with power and great glory. If you see this, you see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory, and you're caught up in it, it's like a good book. It's like a good movie or a good YouTube live stream or TikTok thread. It just captures you and takes you away from your circumstances, and you forgot all about the storm for a few minutes or the dog that was barking down the street. It took you away for a minute. You got caught up like a good book. You get caught up with me in the clouds. See, the term rapture is not in the Bible. And the term, the rapture, the idea of the rapture is not in the Bible. Yet everybody keeps saying post trib, pre trib, the rapture, the rapture, the rapture, the rapture. The rapture should be happening at any time. Well, it is. It's been happening for 4 years, 7 years now. But are you looking up? Are you seeing in the clouds? Do you see me coming in the clouds of power and great glory? Are you caught up? Because I went ahead and prepared a place where I am, you can be. Here, this YouTube live channel, or this live stream on my channel right now. Okay? And I can't come over to your house and give you a big hug right now. I'm a little incapacitated, and there's a lot of debris in between you and me. But I can meet you in the air of cyberspace. Okay? If you are here, you are caught up with me in the clouds. We met in the air of cyberspace where I went ahead and made a place where I am, you can be also. That matches everything at this moment. You are technically raptured, but you're caught up. You're complete now. I finish you. I complete your faith. Okay, your faith can be taken further into knowledge. Doesn't take away faith. You still have faith too. But now it's going further to knowledge because I don't want my children to perish for lack of knowledge. See what lack of this knowledge could cause? People are going to lose their minds without this knowledge. Trust me, your faith that you got before through reading the word was a scrap, but that's going to be hard to use just that to hold on to in these times. You're going to need to know. Okay? And that's what I do. I'm back. I am here. I am back. I have been back for 7 years, over 7 years now. And now something else changed too in the spiritual realm, as you can see by some of these pictures we showed earlier. Okay? Real deal. And that's what makes it so special here. You guys are the elite. You really are. You're criminals. You are the elite. You're here. And I want to thank some Leslie and Jimmy, and I'll thank Angel and Angela Everett, Angel Wings. And where did you come here? Back here? Love always. Now, I'm always over at your stream, Love Always, and welcome to my stream. I hope you enjoyed the show and you're getting to know me. Don Baker, good to see you here always. All right, cool. Oh, Vincent Hartman made it, but probably had to go to bed. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I knock people out with my voice. I just sit there and talk. Oh, there is Vincent. He is there. I was told craziest from those who live there. Yeah, well, what's funny is I'm not crazy. Maybe crazy about you guys. I took this on for you. I'm enduring a lot of pain and agony as well. So you are joining in my suffering, which will pay dividends. You guys still with me? Okay. Don't dip out. We're almost done anyways. I just wanted to say thank you for giving me a moment of your time. It's only for your benefit, okay? I'm not an egomaniac. I'm not about, hey, look at me, look what I am, look who I am, look what I did, blah, 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 blah. No, this is more for your mental well-being, okay? Because you guys need this at this time frame. That's it for tonight. I love you all. I miss you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. And I am still to come. Watch out for that hurricane, and especially Fort Myers. That Fort Myers incident had my name in it before. We'll talk about that tomorrow night, okay? Everybody, do your best to help people out while you can. That's it. I love you all. Miss you all. Gotta go. I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell?